No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes. Oh, maybe no. Yes. Yes. Are we on mic?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Episode 70.
Yes.
So, today what we're going to do is we're going to do some guard passing. I got to catch my breath. It's okay. I've commissioned Mike to let me know when I lean on my left shoulder. For some reason, it's getting jacked from maybe just leaning on it. But I was leaning on my right. So if I lean on my right, it's going to be my knee. Anyways, so guys, what we're going to do... Okay, now I was on my left. We're going to do some guard passing. We're going to sort of switch up what we're doing. All right? This is actually one of my favorite combinations. So, I like a knee cut pass, but sometimes guy does a good job blocking it, and I staple his leg with my outside knee. So in this case, it's my left knee. You can pass sometimes, just straight through, but it becomes very difficult because a lot of times it's got a knee shield. So what I'll do a lot of times is I'll go under, okay? Now, you gotta be very careful. Let me turn around for a second. So you gotta make sure that this leg is pinned and the knee is through, okay? Because if I start to, and he pushes through and you got somebody strong, you can get triangle, all right? So, as I'm driving, I want my knee as far as possible. Of course, the guy's gonna try to off balance you, but so I start to drive. Now, there's two ways I can generally go. Is I threaten the pass to my right. The other possibility is to go to the left. Okay? So, let's look at a setup. So I'm passing guard. You know, I try to cut, but this is not happening. Sometimes I will try to change my direction and I pin. Now, I'm going to swim under and drop in. I have to make sure my elbow's tight. So I don't get, you don't want to be doing flaring on your elbow. So I want to have my elbow tight. It's okay if my hand, if he grabs, you can always swim. All right? Now, if I can, I'm going to go under his head. And now this is key, guys. You have to sort of drive forward, but keep his legs wide open. If he decides that the pressure is too much, what he's going to do is he's going to posture up. When that happens, my right hand is going to come across his head, and I'll withdraw my left. And now I'm going to pass to my right. Guys, as soon as I pass, I'm looking to tie him up and get a submission going. If I can. Guys, if you get an exposure on his arm or his head off the guard pass, take the submission. If you don't, then stabilize, and then you can sort of start to break him down. So let's look at the two possibilities again. So I'm starting maybe, you know, when he takes it away from me, I pin his leg with my left shin. Now, my arm, to some extent, is in danger. If my elbow was really flared out, you would probably lose this. But my elbow is in, so I just swim. And I'm looking to control his head. All right? Now, your job is not yet done. Usually you could try to get your arm through, but if you know my game and you know my guy's game, you know this hand could get threatened if you get stretched out. So me personally, I like to go under his leg. There is no danger of triangle right now. In order for him to triangle, he'd have to throw me. If that's the case, guys, if you get pushed back past his hips, make sure you withdraw that lead hand. Okay? And then we start all over again. So as I'm driving through, guys, I'm actively pushing. But I'm not just pushing up, I'm pushing up and slightly to the side. So this actually sometimes, this gets very uncomfortable for the guy in the bottom. A lot of times, if you know, he's going to be hunting for, trying to cross face me or hunting for my elbow, so he can, yeah. So I will continue to swim, and if I can, I'll even pin his arm. Yeah, this is good stretch, Enrique. Don't be afraid to tap if you feel like the need to. So now I'll pass. Guys, as soon as I pass, I'll withdraw my hand. You want to make sure you pull your right hand back. Don't leave it there. It's some, you know, in some instances, a decent control under his leg, but sometimes it can be used against you. All right. So when you're in that position, you have to feel where is his defense weaker. Is it to your left? Is it to your right? And you go with the direction that is most convenient for you, easiest guard pass. Okay. So let's look at it again. Yeah, now, sometimes here I will connect my hands. This is very, very uncomfortable for Enrique. Usually I go knee on the belly to be able to retract my arm. Now in this case, he's giving me an arm triangle. I'll take it right away. Now, let's look at the possibility that he fights my guard pass to my left to his right more. I'm going to go the other way. So again, guys, make sure, don't just go here. Good. Yeah. All right. So you want to make sure you control his head movement. So I'm going to put my fist on the ground. And my hand, for a second, my left hand is going to be on his leg, but guys, don't overextend, because if you get, yeah, this is a bad angle for him to get a straight triangle, but he could, possibly an arm lock, and he could also get a reverse triangle. So it depends what angle you give him. But so I try to control his leg, but I'm ready to withdraw that hand at any point in time. So as I'm driving, I just turn my hips. Guys, notice that when I sit out, it doesn't matter whether I sit out towards his hips, towards his head. As soon as I sit out, I square back up to him, because if you just sit out, it's not a good place to be. Sitting out is good for guard passing, good for isolating his limbs, but you might be vulnerable if you stay there too long to a quick reversal on his part. All right. So let's look at the two possibilities again. So I'm attacking him. Okay. Now look at my right leg. It's shoving his left. I'm going to go under, and now I continue to drive my knee wider and forward. And now I'm going to make a decision. If I can go to my left, I'll go to my left. If I'm stopped, I'm going to go to my right. So I sit out, guys. Notice how I'm sitting out. I don't stay here. I continue to move, and I square up, and this is what he's giving me. Okay? Guys, do we have any questions on this so far?
We have a lot of people checking in on the 70 Club.
Nice. Oh, nice. 70 out of 70. Guys, speaking of that, I think episode 75, we're going to be live on YouTube only. So we will still post the links to the episode on Facebook and Instagram, but the live portion will be on YouTube. So if you want to ask questions live, go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, Silver Fox BJJ. You can't miss it. Okay? So starting with 75th episode, guys, you got 5 episodes to mentally migrate. If you will still be able to watch it and stuff, but now it's going to be live on YouTube.
Saad on YouTube is asking, before you, what do you do if before you split them, they keep their knee to their chest because they're so flexible and then they invert on you?
Yeah, Enrique does a lot of that. It's a battle. It's a battle. So, God. Yeah, I tried to, yeah. It's a battle. I tried to, yeah. So it's a bit of, you know, it's a battle, but you got to surprise him. You know? Yeah, that's not going to happen, Enrique. So it's a bit of a battle. That's a very good question. But when you got somebody that's flexible, so I attempt to go, that doesn't happen. So I will still drive. Now, what I'm trying to do is, like for example, with him, this doesn't matter. I will, if somebody's less flexible, I will continue to drive them over their shoulders into turtle. Okay? But that presumes that he cannot post. Enrique can post. So a lot of times he posts like this. When that happens, no, we got to do it for. So what I'll do is I'll threaten this. I don't think I've ever gotten it on him, but it's a thing of beauty, basically, where he submits himself. Oh.
Tap.
Okay.
Tap.
He gave me the look like this is not going to work on me. The unfortunate thing is that he actually starts, when I threaten this, he starts to battle, he takes it back. So I try to get him over his shoulder. If that fails, I try to, yeah. And now what I'll try to do is open his legs. All right? Sometimes, if I have this, I'll, yes, I have to do it. I have to do it, guys. So you try to get his legs towards one side or the other. It's not easy. It is a battle. Yes, it is a battle.
Let me go. Spanish helps.
Yeah. Oh. All right, guys. I passed the guard, but pissed it away by going for a leg lock. Now I have to pass his guard again. So if you got somebody really flexible and basically they can put their feet on the ground and literally push off left and right, you got to be kind of careful because you got to keep good base, because when they feel you off balance, they can spin and pivot into a position now, go straight from defensive side to offensive side. So what I try to do is keep them where he is, see if I can roll him over his shoulders. That's the first attempt. If I can't, then I have to go side to side. You know, sometimes if I get double under, so if I can get double under, what I'll do is same thing, put my hand, the fist next to his head. Now he starts to counter. I go the opposite direction. All right, so let's look at it again. So you have a couple options, but so if somebody real flexible, I'm gonna go double under. I'm gonna weave my hand through to the, and now I'm trying to shove his hips towards one side. If he battles me too much, I will transition the other way and go. So when you got somebody flexible like that, you have to be careful. You can't just get too frustrated, too aggressive, and just try to go through because you're going to get swept. Then the question is, who's got better scrambles?
On Instagram, Elysium001 is saying, Your instruction is very clear. Your instruction is very clear. Is this supposed to be free? Thank you.
Free as my what do you call it? Duty to the world jiu-jitsu community during the time of crisis. For now.
And Steve Rogla from the Academy is asking, if you were in the gi, would you grab the collar with your right hand or would you still post knuckles to the mat?
That's a good question, Steve. It's a really, really good question. I'll show you what Enrique does to me. So we're going to pretend he's got the gi. You know what you do to me when I get my hands in with a thumb? Yeah. Yeah, it'll come to you. So you got to be very careful. So if I have the gi and I get my thumb, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, he starts to attack the hand. Now I have to. So this is one of those questions that doesn't have a clear answer. It gives you a lot of good control and a threat of a choke as soon as you pass. However, if the guy on the bottom is flexible like Enrique is and has good defenses, it traps your arm in that position. So a lot of times he starts to attack Urigatami. And I can't, you know, if I could do this very quickly, I can escape the Urigatami and continue the guard pass. With him, if I do this, and don't get me wrong, I will attempt to do this, but if he attacks, which he does a lot, now I have to get my thumb back quickly, because if my thumb is stuck in his gi, I cannot turn my hand quickly. So the Urigatami kicks on real hard, real quick. So usually I prefer to put my fist, because if he attacks my arm, I can just turn my arm and escape the counterattack. Does that make sense?
Dave Jocelyn is asking, what if Enrique catches your leg?
Which one?
The first one.
The first leg? Which is...
I mean... Yeah. The first pass, I mean.
On the first pass. So... That's okay. When he does... Are you talking about this? Is Enrique's interpretation good?
Waiting for their reply.
So let's go with this for now. So right away, I don't know if you noticed, yes. I brought my foot closer. Huh?
Yes.
I did not contradict you. So guys, notice what I did with my right foot. Can you see it? So if I feel like he's dropping his legs, I don't want him to hook my right foot and pull it out. Now I start to lose balance. Go ahead, let's play this out. Yeah, and I start to back away. This gives him a chance to hip up. So when that happens, I'll bring my right foot close. If I can't, right now I cannot reach under his leg. So I'm not going to reach out here because he can grab my hand. So if I can't reach, now I'm going to start to pressure with my legs to get the guard pass. So when you're passing somebody's guard, you have to, the leg that's temporarily trapped between his legs, it's not just sort of like, okay, let me leave it there until I can get through and kick it out. Sometimes it plays a very subtle role of preventing him from moving very easily or very quickly into either sweep position or a guard recovery position, or attacking position for that matter. All right, so that's very important. So you have to not just not pay attention just to 95% of your body here. So right away, if I feel that he's locking up, I'm going to try to get my foot on his calf. You can see how quickly that falls apart. Now, that's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, because don't forget, you go live, and he's putting a lot more power, a lot more intensity into that recovery. But that's what you got to do.
And GM Baseball says, would you do the same or similar against a knee shield in half guard?
With knee shield, what I'll usually try to do, So with knee shield, what I'll try to do is, because the knee shield keeps me a lot further away. So with knee shield, I will usually weave my inside hand, arm, in this case, it's my right hand. And I'll put it by his hips. Now, I want to make sure that I try to keep him flat. I don't want him sort of going underneath, because now he's going to try to sweep me and enter the legs, and that starts. So I'm trying to control him with my head, all right? So my head on the shoulder. Now, my left hand might possibly go under the head, but you got to be careful, because if Enrique squares away very quickly, yeah, and takes my, now I have to back up quickly. So it'll alternate between pulling his head in to controlling his right arm. All right? I will try to loop. This is what I'm trying to do. So compress and loop, if I can. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes he stops me. He's still not stopping me. Let's turn so they can see this. So knee shield. So I have a knee shield. And this is, guys, it is a battle. If you got somebody that's got, good knee shield, I may try to push it off to the side. So I'm trying to get it off to the side. That's not going to happen. So as he's battling that, I drop back down. Now, I'm collapsing his hips with my body weight. All right? So here, I can't compress. I can't crush him. So I will try to just make it look like I'm trying to get past it. And now I'm collapsing. I'm going to control his head to his arm. Head and arm. All right? I'm going to try to straighten out my right leg, knee on the ground, and loop. Sometimes this doesn't happen, so he keeps his legs high. I just cannot get that. So when you get stuck passing guard, guys, don't insist on one way. What I might try to do then is see if I can rotate his hips to the other side. If he's not letting me do that, what I'll do is just pop up. Now, his reaction is going to be, he's going to make adjustments. As he's making the adjustments, I may pass high. So you have to, a lot of times, if you get stuck, guys, if you're 230 pounds, strong build, it's easy to insist. You can insist on a guard pass. But if you look at the highest level, where guys are somewhat evenly matched, skill-wise and size-wise, you have to switch the modes of guard passing. Left to right, up and down. We talked about that in one of the episodes, three-dimensional guard passing. You have to mix a couple of different approaches together to get through the guard. If you insist on one way, it's sort of like this. Nobody's getting through. Okay? So you have to make sure that you develop a couple of different guard passes that you can combine together. Not just that, but also a couple of different styles of guard passing, and also have some left to right movement.
Lots of peers asking, can he five-finger guillotine you from the Z guard position?
No. You have to be careful. If I make a mistake, yes. But here, but this is this is a mistake. So notice what I'm doing. If I'm here, guys, yes, it's possible.
It's for the viewers.
It's for the viewers.
Make it look good.
So if I'm passing, so as soon as I make a decision, so say he's got a good knee shield, right? So as I'm threatening this, so I may try to push to the side, I know it's not going to happen. I just need his movement. I want to get my head up to his shoulder. Now, I don't have anything. He doesn't have anything. Yeah, go ahead and get a good grip. Yeah, this kind of sucks for me, guys, but as soon as I will pass the guard. Now I'm going to go after him. I know what, go ahead. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna tap.
No, you don't tap yet. Now you can tap. So even when I get through his guard, guys, hey, I think, by the way, we hit 400,000 on one of the videos with Firas, the bottom of cross side. Yeah. So understand, I'm comfortable on the bottom cross side. Therefore, he's comfortable on the bottom cross side. Therefore, he's comfortable on the bottom cross side. The point is, bottom cross side, guys, is a bad position. You get punished with that, with points against you. But, you know, it's important, especially at the early stages of your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu development, is first, develop comfort being in bad positions. And two, develop escapes. Because a lot of times, if you do a good escape, you know, it starts to lead towards opportunities to attack. So you could see, like, when I pass this guard, he starts squirming around and possibly put me in a dangerous position. That's one of the reasons why, when I get on top, I try to hit him with a submission, quickly shut that stuff down. Okay? Oh, yeah.
And Vincent MMA Life is asking, Coach, what guard pass do you prefer if your opponent is allowed to use up kicks?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question, guys, for MMA. Yeah. Guys, if you don't know what that means, guys, again, let me point out why, sort of, in general, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a world of, it's a martial art, whatever you want to, you know, for me, it's a martial art. For people, it's a sport. It's got certain rules and so forth. And certain tribes will be a little more geared towards one or the other. Some tribes are geared more towards IBJJF style competition, you know, in grappling. Other tribes are more geared towards sort of more traditional, sort of just kind of hard wrestling, kind of fundamental, you know, like I impose my will. The Renzo tribe, you know, from the very beginning, has always been geared towards, and in my mind, MMA is probably the closest proxy for self-defense. Okay? I said, in the old days, guys, you know, when we used to learn how to do the guard, this is back probably 95. The guy on the bottom got headgear, and the guy on top got the gloves. Your guard will get good very fast, because if it doesn't, it's like a basketball bouncing on the back of the mat. It's not a pleasant feeling. So you have to, in my mind, and I try to convey that to my students, is usually I try to explain techniques in the context. One is grappling, the other one is self-defense / MMA, because the two of them are probably, MMA is the closest thing to self-defense. Yeah, you can't bite and stuff, you can't eye gouge, but other than that, you can put fish hook and stuff, but you can do almost anything else. But so let's look at it, because that's a very good question. So I took Enrique down. So guys, well, in self-defense, he can kick me in the family jewels. In MMA, he cannot. So in MMA, I don't have to worry about it. But either way, guys, I try to go somewhat sideways, just in case if there's, you don't want to be like this, if there's an accident. So you want to lead somewhat sideways and lead with the knees. You know, if you need convincing, look at Renzo's fight with Oleg Taktarov. It's a famous fight. It's probably, mid-90s. Renzo took Oleg down, and Oleg is coming up, and Renzo goes, boom, up kick. Oleg falls back down. Renzo leaps up. One more for good measure, and done. It was like the slot machine, you know. You could see it as soon as the up kick happened, it was all over. You could see the sort of the eyes kind of going like this. Very famous fight. So you have to lead with your hips and your knees, okay? Now, if I were to approach, yeah, we're gonna do this for the viewers. Yeah. Now it comes to haunt you. So guys, if I'm approaching somebody that might upkick, what I'm gonna try to do is have them kind of extend, and that's the opportunity to try to control them better. So I'm gonna be just kicking them around, and I'm in. So what you need to do is just sort of like get them distracted. It's for the viewers. You said that yourself about 3 minutes ago. I remember it very vividly. So as I'm leading, all right? So I'm going to, once I can get a grip on one of the legs, I'm going in, okay? Now, if he's not engaging, if he sort of just, I'm just going to just pepper him a little bit. That one I might have gotten clipped a little bit. But because this is where the most power is. So if I can get it up here, even if you get clipped a little bit. Oh, say hello to my little friend. All right? Yeah, it's for the viewers. So you got to approach that very carefully. Lead with your hips, lead with your knees. Try to get him to commit to the kick or a side. You know? So right now I'm a little too far. So he can, by the time I get back in, he can reload on the leg. Ah, yeah, baby. Yeah. Where's your kick now? And guys, just like that, we're out of time, right? Mike, do we have any last minute questions?
Yes, we have 2 we could fit in.
So I need to let him go?
I got you, Enrique.
Thank you.
Adolfo Ferranda is asking, Fox, do you use float passing in your game? And would that be considered reversed air shrimping?
Yeah, I will float. You know who's really good at float passing? Obviously, Gordon and a few guys from Renzo's. Sean Williams is sort of like, you know, he was float passing probably 15 years ago. He's really good at that. I will not use it against him. Why are you disappointed? Because if I try to float pass on Enrique, so just, yeah, if you can move me a little bit, he's got a lot of good unorthodox attacks. If he gets a body lock on me, yeah, I don't want to be here. All right, so I will use float passing on other guys, but it's not my go-to. I personally, you know, a lot of times if I float pass, so I will change it up to, yeah, go ahead. So I'm just trying to get to my passing that I normally would prefer, which is sort of a more traditional guard passing. So I will use it to change things up, but that's not my go-to passing.
Taiwo says, thanks, Fox, for the insight.
What's up, Taiwa?
Beast in Action says, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the amazing knowledge. And one last question is from Dave Jocelyn. I noticed you use Urigatami a lot. Does it work at the highest levels?
Yes. Yes. Look at Gordon, his match in ADCC, Bushesha. Yeah, he didn't submit him, but he swept him like fairly easily. I've seen Hodger use it again also. You know, at the highest level, you may not necessarily get the submission, but you know, you get a pretty easy sweep. And what happens when the guy gets swept, they're prone. They're not, you know, there's a difference between being swept. So, you know, let me sweep you just sort of like, you know, if I sweep him like this and he's, yeah, this is still a sweep. So, but if you get swept, you know, with a top, I'm sorry. This is, you know, like you wind up on the guy like this. So not every sweep is the same sweep, you know. I like to employ things, you know, sweeps or whatever, where you wind up landing in a very dominant position. It's the same position theoretically, you know, top of cross side, but if I'm on top of cross side, somebody like this versus like this for a split second, that's a big difference, because that can lead, you know, if the guy lands kind of tight and everything, he can come back up, pop back up. He can sort of start to get ready for offensive movement or re-sweep you, whereas somebody like this, they have no choice but to accept the sweep, otherwise they're at risk of submission.
And Patrick Carberry says, thank you, Professor Enrique and Mike.
Hi, Patrick. Oh, we're out of time, guys. Move to YouTube. Not you guys, me. Mike, you have too many signs on the tree. I'm just trying to read it. Like, share, subscribe, tag, friend. Do not dislike, follow. If you don't like it, move to somebody else's channel, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Episode 71. Can you believe that?
Season 3, episode
No,
11.
don't even start. Season 3.
Episode 11.
See what I gotta put up with, guys? And then everybody in the first 20 episodes is like, why is Fox beating up on Enrique all the time? Now you know. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Stay well. Stay safe. Be considerate. Use your brains and use your heads, both for jiu-jitsu and for thinking. See you tomorrow.